right, Coach. Why don't you just kind of get us caught up? What'd you see on film from the win?
We made some adjustments and some things with how we play. I think that it certainly helped. It definitely made things a little easier for our team. And I think that we did some good things defensively a little differently as well. I thought that helped. I think that we just need to continue to grow on the defensive side of the ball, and that's on me. To get the most out of this team, and at the same time, being able to score easier. I felt like we scored a little easier last game. We were more efficient. It helps that our guards have improved a lot, since we've gotten them. I credit our staff with their development, and I credit our kids with being coachable and listening and just getting better across the board, And so I think another thing that really stood out is, for most part, we've really struggled with 50-50 balls and effort plays and recently, and we were really good in that area, gaining extra possession. So credit to our kids.
I want to talk a little bit about Amber. Could you ever imagine start of the year when you had your first practice that you'd be leaning so heavily on a freshman, to score, taking 20 shots a game?
No, I did not expect that. I expected it probably by her junior year. You got to credit, Amber and her work ethic. You credit Ben. Ben has been tremendous in her development. I think our staff in general has been really good with her development, but most of the credit has to go to her. She's super coachable. She brings energy and effort in every play and practice and every rep. She reminds me of kids that I've coached before, who have been great players and who are pros and been pros. And so, the sky's the limit for her, and she's going to have an unbelievable career. She's going to have an opportunity to do special things here. And, I'm very fortunate I get to coach her.
I feel like you obviously the bench has been pretty limited lately, but it's also been able to give you kind of the same starting lineup lately. You kind of got a rotation figured out. Do you feel like that's coming along?
I think it's coming along. I try not to get ahead of myself, but, every game has its own identity. And I think that there are some games, certain kids, as you start to become more familiar and comfortable with certain kids, there's certain kids that can play in certain games. And when that happens, the kids have to be okay with it and be all about team and understanding that there's a level of trust to all of this. And we're doing what's best to put our kids in the best positions to be successful. And I will say that I'm never committed to one thing in particular from game to game. It's just about game planning and about, the game's taking a life of its own.
All right, let's look at Buffalo here a little bit. I think they've got the number 4 scorer in the country right now. Obviously, there's going to be challenge there, and I'm not asking you to give game plans of what you're going to do, but how big of a challenge is that?
I mean, she's good, but I do think that we will be ready for the challenge. I think that they are a dynamic team in transition. They are this level version of Iowa, and so I'm pretty used to that. So, our kids are going to have to respond, and it always comes down to, defensively, 98% of the coaches in the country are going to talk about defense. I'm trying to score 60 points. If we score 60 points, we're going to have a chance to win. And so I think that's where our mindset is with that. At the same time, being smart defensively and getting the shots that we want them to take, and being tough enough to limit them to those shots. And so it's going to be a challenge. They're a heck of a team. They play people close. They play people tough. Watson's a tremendous player, and so we're going to have our hands full. But I think we're ready.